Welcome to SportsBeat KC, the Kansas City Star's daily sports podcast. It's Friday, June 4th, and I'm Blair Kerkhoff. With Kansas City's two professional soccer teams, one can't win, the other can't seem to lose. Sporting Kansas City's playing great. 3 straight victories, terrific play from their stars, good goalkeeping, and that's why they enter the weekend in second place in the MLS Western Division. Sporting Kansas City doesn't play this weekend. KC and NWSL, on the other hand, is struggling. Busio is 4 regular season games into its existence and seeks its first victory. Hugh Williams' team doesn't have a goal in 3 of the 4 games and has 2 draws and 2 losses to show for its start. The next opportunity comes on Sunday at Legends Field. On today's SportsBeat KC, Star beat writer Shaun Goodwin breaks down what's going right and what's going wrong with the team. So let's get started talking Sporting KC and KC NWSL. Shaun Goodwin covers soccer for the Kansas City Star. He covers both the Sporting Kansas City and KC NWSL. And Shaun, you're covering one team that is hot, and another team that is not. Let's start with the hot team, Sporting Kansas City. They're just rolling. Their offense has been terrific. Their best players are playing so well right now. And I got to think that in whatever sport you talk about, when your best players are playing at a high level, you're going to have success.
Yeah, and that's what you need, right? I mean, we talk about those best players. I think the big two are Gianluca Busio, of course, and Alan Pleaser. We talk about them plenty on here. Obviously, you touched Johnny Russell in there, but he's kind of been struggling injury through the start of the season. So, I mean, hell, imagine what's going to be like once you've got a fully fit Johnny Russell, right? Well, no, yeah, it's something I talked to Peter about only last week, just about, the difference between starting off slow and then kind of picking up speed later in the season. And, you're playing catch-up at that point, right? And when you're playing catch-up, players might overexert themselves. Some games may seem more important than others. Look at Minnesota United right now. It's a terrible start in their 12th right now. I thought they were going to be a top 4 team. So instead, you've got Sporting KC, second place in the West, flying start, 5 wins already. So yeah, it's been a fun team to watch, especially after the very start of the season where it was a little bit slower to start. There was a couple of good Real Salt Lake results and good tie against Orlando. But ever since, yeah, they've been rolling, so it's been fun.
So it's 3 straight victories, 3 goals in each game. Does Polito have a goal in each game?
Let's see. San Jose, yes. Houston, yes. And Vancouver, yes. Yeah, 3 straight.
Yep. But let's talk about Gianluca Busio's goal. That was world-class goal. It froze the keeper. Keeper didn't even make a move.
Oh, yeah.
It was terrific.
Hey, it's one of those where, again, thank God I'm not a goalkeeper, but it just, you see them, only the best free kicks in the world, make a goalkeeper stand still. From my angle, I was unfortunate enough to it was down my side of the field, and I sat on line where the free kick was taken, basically. So, I saw it go in the corner, hit the post, and even from that angle, I was shocked. My mouth was open, and then I see the videos from behind, and I see people taking videos from the cauldron. Oh, my Lord, the swear on that ball, and it couldn't place it any more perfectly. Every week, I feel like this kid comes out and surprises us, and I'm just kind of like, is there a point when he'll stop?
There'll be a day when he's not wearing the blue. Don't you have that sense?
Oh, absolutely. It's sad to say in a sense of course, if you're a fan of any team, you want your best players to stay forever, right? But at the end of the day, you do have to accept reality. And we've touched on the subject of MLS, becoming a bigger brand worldwide. But at the end of the day, MLS and Sporting KC isn't the Premier League or Bundesliga or Serie A. Obviously, he's got his Italian heritage, so there's a lot of talk about him going to Italy. If you're a 19-year-old kid and you have that much talent, and especially the influx of Americans not only going to Europe but succeeding, you'd have to be happy for the kid to go and get a chance to succeed on the biggest stage.
I agree. And I do think we should really, really appreciate him now. Get out and see this kid play because he really is a different level player. And Liz, we talk about the American who's making it in Europe right now and Pucelik. And how big a story is that? I mean, that's when he played in the Champions Cup final. That was huge.
Oh, yeah.
Huge for soccer in this country.
Oh, absolutely. I ain't no Chelsea fan, But I'm also a hell of a lot less a Man City fan. So, it was good to see Chelsea pick it up for the club perspective. And then, just with Pulisic getting the minutes he did in the final. And he almost scored as well.
Yeah.
I was out like a double and everything. I feel like not just where I was, but America as a whole who was watching the game. It was a collective gasp and groan. Just, ooh, as everyone thought he scored in the Champions League final. But great to see an American kind of reach those levels. And you like to think it's only a start, right? Not just for Pulisic, but Americans as a whole.
That's right. Well, we'll see. I mean, to me, that's when we know soccer in this country will have turned a corner. Then when we see more of that level player performing in Europe, in the best leagues at the highest level. And hopefully, fingers crossed, some of them will have spent time in the MLS, begin their career and end their careers in the MLS.
Yeah, that's a big part of it too. I mean, you look at guys, obviously Pulisic didn't. Weston McKennie, he was in Dallas's academy, but never made an actual MLS appearance. Gio Reyna didn't make an MLS appearance. Go on, and obviously Gio Reyna is out at Dortmund, obviously great German team. Weston McKennie, Juventus, they had a bad season, but Juventus, the biggest team in Italy. Brendan Aronson, he spent time in MLS, and he's doing well out of Red Bull Salzburg. Usually a stepping stone to either Red Bull Leipzig, one of Germany's biggest teams, or elsewhere in Europe. So we'll see how Brendan Aronson goes. There's guys like Reggie Cannon, he was at Dallas and now he's at Boa Vista in Portugal and stuff. So there's certainly now guys who started in MLS and are making that jump over. But the biggest names are the ones that they were poached from a young age, or they just have that American heritage. Like, Pulisic, his dad was in the army, correct? Right. And he was stationed in Germany. And Gio Reyna, again, he's got the American heritage. But as you said, it's the guys like Brendan Aronson and hopefully Busio soon who start in MLS and still making impact abroad.
Sporting doesn't play this weekend. They've got the weekend off. Their next game is another home game against Austin, I think, right?
Yes.
Okay, a week from Saturday. They've already played Austin once. In fact, I think as we look at the season now, that Austin victory a couple of weeks ago was kind of important. Sporting was struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the identity was. The Beasler return game, Sporting pulls out the 2-1 victory with the 2 late goals against 10, I believe, right? That started what's been a pretty good run for Sporting. So Austin in the following week. Let's take a break now and come back and talk about KC NWSL and what's going on with the women's team. And I want you to tell me why they can't seem to score a goal. We'll be right back. Hey, it's Blair. We have a special subscription offer for SportsBeat KC listeners, unlimited digital access to the Kansas City Star's award-winning sports coverage. Sign up now for 1 year of Sports Pass for access to all the sports news, features, and columns presented on the kansascity.com site, and it's only $30. That's a 40% savings off our regular rate. Your subscription will automatically renew after the initial term at $50 unless you tell us to cancel. Your subscription helps support the sports coverage of kansascity.com and the Kansas City Star, and that support has never been more important. Please visit kansascity.com/SportsBeatKC offer to get this special offer. And as always, thanks for listening. All right, back with Shaun Goodwin, who covers the NWSL, Major League Soccer for the Kansas City Star. And we're talking about the women's team. Winless in the regular season, 0-4. They've only scored a goal in one of them. They had a 2-2 draw against Houston, but they're back-to-back shutout losses. They play Sunday at home at Legends Field, Houston. Your favorite city.
Favorite team, Houston, yeah.
What's going on? Why is Hugh Williams' team struggling so much on the offensive end?
A big part of it is they're just not creating enough chances, to be honest. You look at what they've done so far in that Louisville 0-0, even this most recent Orlando game. I don't know if you saw the video, Blair. Ball did not cross the line, but it was giving us a goal. So that could have been 0-0. Even against Chicago, they were the better team for 45 minutes, and then Khalil Watt and Mallory Pugh comes on and kind of changes it. So defensively, it's tough because, yes, teams are scoring goals, but a clean sheet every single game obviously isn't, the most realistic expectation. But it's going down your end at points and scoring goals yourself. If you can see one goal and score 2 and you win 2-1, Sporting KC did it. They beat Hoskin 2-1, and no one thinks anything of it, right? But it's that transition. I feel like a big problem right now is a lot of these games give us to play with 2 sixes, 2 defensive midfielders, more out of just players either being injured, international duty. And at the end of the day, that's not a formation that's set up to attack. You're playing 2 defensive midfielders. At that point, all you've got is your 8. You can't play a 10 because then there's this big gap in the middle of the midfield. So that midfield is drawn back a bit. And then, of course, you front 3. But when you're defending and you're trying to go in a quick transition and you don't have the players up to be able to do that, then you either get into tough isolation situations where a winger or Amy Rodriguez or whoever is being outnumbered 2v1. And then when they do get in those dangerous positions, it's interesting if you've watched the games, they try and play pretty soccer, I guess the best way I can put it, ball on the ground, playing about, and it has produced goals. But they honestly look more dangerous with the route 1 over the top. I mean, you think of Amy Rodriguez's first goal for Kansas City back in the Challenge Cup. That was a ball over the top. Houston game, that was a long transition ball to the right wing. Ball was put back across for Rodriguez, boom, very quick. The second Houston goal, again, just lobbed it into the box. And then when you were playing Orlando as well, it was those long balls into the box at the end of the game when you were looking for, they were looking for an equaliser, when they honestly look more dangerous. And I get that it's the best league in the world, it's the best players, you want to have a identity and a style. And I see what Hugh Williams is trying to do. I get it, and I get why you want to do it. And I'm sure the players want to play like that too. You don't want to be classified as a hoof the ball up the field kind of team. Back in England, we call that like a Sam Allardyce team or Tony Pulis team. It's not a compliment. But right now, that's where they've been the most lethal. So it's finding that balance between still playing attractive, pretty soccer while still being effective and scoring goals when you need them.
I guess if you had to have a slump or a stretch like this where you've got some issues, it's best to have it early, and you've got time to work on it to continue it. Keep in mind too, this is an expansion team. As much as we want to think of it as the continuation of an interrupted team that that went to Utah for a couple of years, it's not that. It's new. You talked about international duty. There's a lot of that going on with this team as well, as with other teams. But it seems like the Canadians on the NWSL team are all getting called into international duty. So I don't know. I'm not trying to make excuses for them. I'm trying to come up with reasons why a team that arrived with so much fanfare, the rollout was so good from a media relations standpoint. Every move that they've made off the field has been so good. I want them to have success for them. I want them to feel good about an outcome.
Yeah, and once you're getting those wins, it's easier for people to become a fan. And as sad as that thing is, or as sad as it is, if you're a passionate fan or if you follow the team for multiple years already, you can go through a slump. Look at the Royals these past couple of years. You saw the bandwagon almost back in the World Series days. And obviously, a lot of fans stayed on. But from going from packing a stadium to pre-COVID, it's the same deal for the women's team. If you're winning, people follow easier, and then that's when they become loyal fans. And to be missing that component of the winning side, it's also tough to draw people in. It's coming, and I think just, again, expansion team, nature of the league, how tough it is. It's not like out in Europe where if a team goes on a losing streak like this, asking for the manager to be fired. Right. No one's asking to kick Hugh Williams out already. And of course, he doesn't deserve to be kicked out. Give him time, we'll see how it goes. And you have to remember, at the end of the day, some teams have only played 3 games, some have played 4. Kansas City is in last place with 2 points. North Carolina is in 4th place with 4 points. It's early days, it's tight. Once everyone's played 4 games, even one win could put Kansas City right into 6th or 7th place. And then you're right back into playoff contention. It's getting that first win and taking it from there.
Well, it's difficult sometimes to write about a team that's not winning, but you came up with a story this week that I really enjoyed. The headline in the Kansas City Star was Soccer Moms, how KC women's pro soccer players with kids balance duties of life and work. And you spoke with Amy Rodriguez and Michelle Vasconcelos balancing life as a professional athlete and a parent. And it's not always easy. But we should say at the outset that men have to deal with this as well. But you cover both the men's and the women's teams. And listen, the one game that I attended this year, I saw their kids out there. They're bringing them to practice sometimes. It was a fun story. I wonder what inspired you to write it, and how much did you enjoy doing it?
I guess a big part of what made me, think about writing and wanting to write it is, like you said, obviously dads work, with soccer dads, you have to take care of kids as well. I'm sure just through professional life, there's single dads, because dads have to deal with picking their kids up, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But I think a big part on the women's side is, right off the bat, you look at Amy Rodriguez. Her husband lives in California, so she's basically a single mom and a pro athlete. But it's also, I think, a huge part of it is the pay disparity. Even the lowest earning men's players in the MLS, they're making more than enough money to be comfortable. The big difference with the women's side is, some of the top players might be doing well, but the minimum salary is so much lower. You can't be affording to nanny your children every single day, just tossing money on flights and tickets to take them to every single game. So then, it gets into a tricky situation for a lot of these soccer mums of, especially Amy Rodriguez, who do you leave your kids with? As I said in the story, oftentimes because of those nanny costs, and Kansas City, as of now, doesn't offer like an in-club nanny. Like I know Chicago Red Stars does that. Michelle, she used to play there, and that's what she has. So, she has to take her kids to practice, and go just have to sit by the side and, get my play with soccer ball or something. But still, Amy says it's a place of seriousness. It's her job. And she can't be telling her kids not to be throwing crayons at each other's head and, messing about because she's got to work. And then, just travel, Michelle Vasconcelos' husband, Pedro, he's been really good for her and with Amy too, kind of taking care of the kids and, taking them to games and stuff, which is a big help, of course. But he can't do that every game either. So, of course, Amy is having to take the kids on the team bus or fly them over with the team to away days. It's a much tougher situation, I think, for NWSL side than it is for on the MLS side, which was a big part of why I wrote it.
It was a terrific story, and we're linking to it in the show notes, and of course it appears on kansascity.com. It was in the Thursday editions of the Kansas City Star newspaper. So the Fighting Wosos play Sunday against Houston. Do you give them a chance in this one? They had their only result against Houston earlier this year, a 2-2 draw.
Back in front of the home crowd, they have to win at some point, right? I think Houston is a tough opponent. They've not got off to a great start either, to be honest. They won their first game, and they're 3 games without a win themselves, including a 2-2 draw. So, you've got 2 teams on a bad streak. I know after that Houston game, Hugh Williams was hoping that they carry that momentum into the next couple of games. It didn't. But when you're coming up against a team where you go down to 10 players, you get a late equaliser, that's got to affect, Houston a little bit mentally, right? And you have to hope that as Kansas City continues to build their way into 100% form and tactics and back in front of the home crowds. It's a 1 p.m. game. Sun will be shining. Let's see if they can pick up a result and get that first win in franchise history, I guess.
Okay, well, Shaun, get yourself a shoulder massage because you shouldered the show today with Allie Trost out of town for a few days. We missed you, Allie, and look forward to talking to you next week. Shaun, we always look forward to talking to you, and we will do it again soon. That will do it for today and this week on SportsBeat KC. Big thanks to our production staff of Derek Donovan, Beth Welsh, Monty Davis, Jeff Rosen, Chris Fickett, and Savannah Smith. Thanks to Shaun Goodwin for stopping by and talking soccer. Links to his stories can be found in the show notes and on kansascity.com, and that includes the recent story he wrote about the soccer moms. Hey, we got another deal for you. You can subscribe to Sports Pass for 99 cents a month. That's right, 99 pennies a month. Sports Pass is the online version of the Star Sports section. You get all the stories that appear in the print editions of the Star, plus many more stories that appear only on the website. After 3 months, it auto-renews at $5.99 a month unless you cancel. It's always a great time to subscribe. You can read about what's going on with the Chiefs, the Royals, the colleges, Sporting KC, KC NWSL, and more. How do you get it? You go to kansascity.com/sportspass2020. That's kansascity.com/sportspass2020. You want more than just sports coverage? Check out the entire Kansas City Star product. Sports news, features, commentary, and analysis, the whole thing. You get all the stories written by my talented colleagues, plus additional national news, sports, and business coverage with the e-edition. The details for all of these deals can be found at account.kansascity.com/subscribe. And if you're having trouble hunting down any of those offers, you send me an email, bkerkhoff@kcstar.com, and I will get you to the right place. So whether it's the Sports Pass or the full subscription, you're getting and supporting the best sports and news coverage in Kansas City and helping us produce programs like SportsBeat KC. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back on Monday with another episode.